Level 1, Baby Magic. This is the starter pack of Hogwarts. If you can't pull these off, you're not even surviving the first week of class. Lumos turns your wand into a flashlight. Nox shuts it back down. Simple, but vital when you've sneaked through Hogwarts at night. Alohomora, it's wizard lockpicking. Hermione used it constantly in Philosopher's Stone, opening doors like she had a cheat code. Reparo is magical duct tape. Glasses, windows, books fixed in seconds. Hermione's Oculus Reparo on the train is legendary, but the books add even more everyday charms, like Scourgify, the cleaning spell Tonks used at Grimmauld Place. Useful, but hardly deadly. Then there's Transfiguration, McGonagall's specialty. In her first lesson, she turned a desk into a pig and a goblet into a rat. Students start smaller, like changing matchsticks into needles. It's not battle ready, but it proves magic can reshape reality itself. And of course, Wingardium Leviosa, the most quoted spell in the fandom. Leviosa, not Leviosa. Sure, it floats feathers and furniture, but nobody's dueling Death Eaters with it. Ricta Sempra, the tickling charm, it's just as playful. Fun in practice duels, but laughable against real opponents. Hidden gems like Coloportus seal doors shut, making it the perfect counter to Alohomora. Combine that with Lumos and you've got the stealth kit every sneaky Gryffindor or Ravenclaw first year dreams of. Fun fact, Rowling admitted Transfiguration is the hardest branch of magic at Hogwarts. So, if you're struggling with matchsticks, don't worry. Even Hermione needed practice before turning teapots into tortoises. Level 2, the Survival Kit. This is where spellcasting leaves the classroom and actually starts keeping you alive. Not flashy, but practical. The kind of magic that shows up in every duel and every crisis. First, summoning and control. Accio is king. Harry screamed, "Accio Firebolt!" with a dragon about to char him in the Triwizard Tournament. And it worked. In combat, it's a wand snatcher, a shield grabber, even a lifeline. The book adds Depulso, the banishing charm, the perfect counter. One pulls, one pushes. Together, they're physics, but magical. Next, elemental conjuring. Aguamenti produces clean water on command. Sure, it fills a cup, but in a fight, it douses flames, floods corridors, or forces enemies back. Combine it with Coloportus to seal doors and trap foes. Hogwarts level home defense. Now for disruption. Finite Incantatem shuts down active spells. The reset button every duel needs. And ridiculous, it takes a boggart, your worst fear, and flips it into comedy. Lupin's class proved it. Survival isn't just power, it's mindset. Healing joins the list. Episci patches noses and small cuts. Tonks used it on Harry's face in Half-Blood Prince. It's no cure-all, but it's the first step toward battlefield medicine. For stealth, you've got Snape's invention, Muffliato. It fills ears with buzzing, jamming conversations so you can plan in secret. It's not flashy, but it's the Marauder's map of sound. And then there's restraint. Petrificus Totalus. Neville locked stiff by Hermione in Philosopher's Stone. Non-lethal, but decisive. You're done until someone frees you. Finally, Obliviate. Lockhart mangled it for comedy. Hermione used it in tragedy, erasing her parents' memories to protect them. Utility at its darkest. Fun fact, Rowling confirmed Accio can work over long distances, but only if you know exactly what you're calling. That's why it became Harry's panic button. Level 3, the dual tier. This is where magic stops being schoolwork and turns into straight combat. Every wizarding war was fought here. First, neutralization. Stupefy and Expelliarmus are the twin pillars. In the Department of Mysteries, the air glowed red with stunning spells from the DA, and Expelliarmus, Harry's so-called signature move, fans mocked it, but it disarmed Voldemort twice, once in the graveyard and again in the final duel that ended the war. Call it simple, but these spells win fights. Next, the defense. Protego is the wall every duelist needs. Hermione spammed it in Battle of Hogwarts, shielding allies as Death Eaters hammered away. It can even rebound weaker curses, but never the Unforgivables. Still, it's the difference between living past the first curse and falling instantly. The books even add Protego Horribilis, an advanced aura shield, but we'll dive deeper into that when we reach level 6. Then comes Battlefield Control. Reducto blasts obstacles apart. Ginny used it in the Ministry, shattering shelves and flipping the fight. It's more than destruction, it's forcing your enemy into the open. And in the films, Hermione showed off Bombarda, and even Bombarda Maxima, explosive force that turned locked doors and walls into rubble. Tempo manipulation is next. Impedimenta halts enemies mid-charge. Harry used it in the Triwizard Maze to freeze opponents for precious seconds. In a duel, even half a heartbeat can decide survival. And dueling history adds humiliation spells too. Levicorpus, invented by Snape, dangled victims upside down by their ankles with no warning. Libera Corpus freed them again. It became a favorite of Marauder-era combat, proving not every duel needed blood to humiliate your enemy. But the true art here is sequencing. Protego to block, Impedimenta to stall, Reducto to clear cover, then Expelliarmus or Stupefy to end it. Done right, it feels less like spell casting and more like choreography. Fast, precise, brutal. Level 4, Silence as a weapon. This is the tier where spells shed the safety rails. No incantations, no warning, just raw will turned into firepower. We're talking about non-verbal and wandless spells. The first step is the silent classroom. In 6th year, Snape drilled students on wordless casting. Most failed miserably. A few managed it. Stupefy, Protego, even Accio without a sound. That was the shift. Magic no longer announced itself. For the first time, casting felt like thought becoming reality. Then come the invisible duelists. Entire battles raged without a single word. In Deathly Hallows, Snape squared off against McGonagall, Flitwick, and Sprout. Every curse, counter, and shield silent, the air exploding with willpower alone. In the Department of Mysteries, Aurors, and Death Eaters hurled hexes so fast Sirius Black was struck down before anyone could trace the spell. Wordless dueling means chaos, no incantations to predict, no rhythm to read, just lethal speed. And then there are the wordless gods. Dumbledore versus Voldemort in the Ministry Atrium is the pinnacle. Glass bursts into daggers, fire coiled into serpents, water engulfed flame in a crushing sphere. None of it spoken, none of it telegraphed. These weren't charms anymore. They were elements bent into weapons by sheer instinct. Here's a bonus for book fans. Legilimency and occlumency can both be performed without wands or words. Silent invasions of the mind or defenses against them are some of the deadliest duels no one ever sees. Level 5, the Nightmare tier. By now, magic stops being clever or tactical. Wizards don't duel to win, they duel to dominate, torture, or kill. First, the Unforgivable Curses. Imperius steals your mind and makes you dance like a puppet. Cruciatus floods your nerves with agony, so pure it breaks people. But here's the twisted rule. It only works if the caster truly means it. Harry tried it on Bellatrix after Sirius died, and the curse fizzled. No hatred, no power. And then there's Avada Kedavra, a green flash and you're gone. No counter curse. Shields won't stop it. Only sacrifice, wand lore, or dumb luck. Which explains why the boy who lived survived it again and again and again. Among fans, there's a chilling theory. Cruciatus, Imperius, and Avada Kedavra, CIA. The same initials as Cadmus, Ignotus, and Antioch Peveril. Not canon, but it fits too well. The family that gave us the Hallows may also have gifted the wizarding world its darkest spells. But dark magic doesn't stop there. Snape's Sectum Sempra tore bodies open with invisible blades, bleeding enemies dry unless countered immediately. Centuries earlier, the Entrail Expelling Curse did exactly what the name promises, painting medieval battlefields in horror. Not unforgivable, technically, but tell that to the corpses. And then there's Grindelwald himself. He conjured Protego Diabolica, a towering ring of cursed fire that recognized loyalty and burned everyone else alive. Not just destruction, but spectacle. Dark sorcery as propaganda, a wall of flames that declared, stand with me or perish. Level 6, the Old Magic. This isn't dueling anymore. These are spells so old and binding they act like contracts with magic itself. They demand blood, sacrifice, or collective power, and the price is always brutal. First comes soul magic, creating a Horcrux as the darkest act in wizarding history. Murder tears the soul, and a hidden spell chains the fragment to an object. Tom Riddle scattered his soul across a diary, a locket, a ring, a cup, a diadem, and even Nagini. Destroying them wasn't simple. Basilisk venom, fiend fire, or the sword of Gryffindor coated in venom. Nothing else worked. No textbook dares record the incantation. It's not learning destroying a spell, it's mutilating identity. Then you have life-binding oaths. The Unbreakable Vow ties your promise directly to your life. A bonder weaves fire around clasped hands, sealing each clause. Break the vow and you die. Snape made one with Narcissa Malfoy, overseen by Bellatrix. It's harsher than law, because magic itself becomes executioner. Next is Cursed Elemental Force, Fiend Fire. Not fire, a living curse taking shape as beasts that devour anything. Crabbe unleashed it in the Room of Requirement, and it consumed him and the Ravenclaw diadem in one sweep. Even Voldemort avoided it. Once cast, control is almost impossible. But level 6 isn't only darkness. Here sits the Patronus Charm, the one spell that gives back hope instead of demanding sacrifice. Expecto Patronum is light made solid, born from joy, strong enough to drive back Dementors. Harry mastered it at 13, an achievement most adult wizards never reach. Fail, and you collapse into despair. Succeed, and you summon a guardian of pure memory. Pro tip, if it fails, keep chocolate handy. And finally, protective rituals. At the Battle of Hogwarts, professors stacked fortress-level enchantments. Protego Maxima, Fianto Duri, Repello Inimicum. They turned the school into a citadel, resisting Voldemort's army. McGonagall went further, summoning Pier Totem Locomotor, bringing statues and armor to life. These weren't classroom charms, they were ancient defenses drawn from traditions older than Hogwarts itself. And even before that, Dumbledore stretched Lily's sacrifice into Privet Drive, because Harry shared blood with Petunia. Her home became his shield until 17. Family, place, and sacrifice woven into law. The kind of magic no duel could ever replicate. Level 7, God tier spells. Here magic doesn't just bend reality, it rewrites it. The most haunting example came during the Battle of the Seven Potters. Harry, unconscious and defenseless, should have died, but his wand acted alone, unleashing golden fire that destroyed Lucius Malfoy's borrowed wand, right in Voldemort's hand. A spell cast with no caster. Loyalty and destiny fused into a miracle. Wizards saw the impossible and realized even wands have laws deeper than textbooks. A glimpse of this same level appeared in the Graveyard Duel, when Harry and Voldemort's twin cores locked. Priori Incantatem forced Voldemort's wand to regurgitate echoes of the dead. Cedric, Bertha, Frank, Bryce, James, Lily. For moments, the dead stood beside the living. That wasn't spellwork, that was memory, blood, and fate tearing through the laws of magic. Then there's Elemental Command. In the Cave of Inferi, Dumbledore summoned a firestorm that circled him like a living guardian. Not fiend fire, not ordinary flame, but controlled, obedient, devastating. We saw a preview of this mastery in the Ministry duel with his water sphere, but the firestorm was different. It wasn't survival, it was dominance, like watching a god shape the battlefield. Level 7 also carries the deepest truth. Some spells don't use wands at all. Lily Potter's sacrifice shielded Harry from Avada Kedavra. Later, when Harry walked willingly into death, blood magic anchored him to life and let him return. No incantation, no wand movement, just love, sacrifice, and the oldest law of all, that magic itself can bend for the heart. And finally, creation. Snape authored Sectum Sempra, Levicorpus, and Muffliato, spells that bled into wizarding culture despite being born in the margin of a textbook. Dumbledore conjured elemental magic unseen anywhere else. Voldemort forged curses too twisted to classify. Creating a spell isn't just invention, it's authorship of reality itself. These 7 levels of spells were only the beginning. The next lesson at Stickman Hogwarts, the 10 levels of magic power. Snape's already started. Click now before he locks the door.